solo shit like Mike Rose. With 2 cities on both shoulders, still never walk with hunchback. After all these haters told me get my weight up, so I jacked up on steroids to make it from minors to majors. Used to be a broke lil nigga. Now all I do is count my paper, so why should I apologize for the life that I done earned? Got my finger up to the critics like, fuck them, let the track burn. If the flow hostile or I'm hot now, what the fuck would I wait my turn? I'm calling me a problem child, I was acting wild, live life with no concern. So for all those who take shots, I might be saying prayers for your urn. Rest in peace to your career, when the fuck y'all gon' learn? Cause I eat beef like Shark Week or beef for the whole year. And I won't stop till I'm on top like a shit down like a sheriff. Excuse me, can you hold my mic for a second? Cause I feel like I'm the shit, nigga. Cause I gotta do my dance. All I need is a new Bugatti and I'ma be legit, nigga. Excuse me, can you hold my mic for a second? Cause I feel like I'm the shit, nigga. Cause I gotta do my dance. All I need is a new Bugatti and I'ma be legit, nigga.
Yo.
Yeah, yes, sir.
What's goody?
Oh, what's good? What's good? How you feeling today?
You already know, man. Blessed, bro. Fight Night episode 10. Ooh.
Episode 10. We done made it to double digits, people. You done fucked up now.
Facts, bro. You already know this shit gonna keep going. You already know this shit gonna keep going.
Yes,
How
sir,
you feeling today, bro?
I'm feeling great. The sun is shining out here. So at least for now, because apparently it's supposed to storm like shit the next 2 days. So I'm gonna enjoy this while I got it.
But I had snow out here. I had snow out here this morning. It pissed me off to wake up and see exactly what the fuck I moved away from. But you know,
I haven't had to deal with snow in a long time. I'm okay with that.
Lucky man.
I'm okay with that.
Lucky man. Go ahead and get your intro off for the people.
You know it is, man. You know, Mr. Common Sense. You know, just the West Coast captain this year's shit. And the man who thinks the UFC is actively trying to kill Tyron Woodley. Asshole by nature. Corey motherfucking Hansford. I'm here.
Which y'all already know who it is. This is your boy, you know, the prediction god of UFC, apparently. I get a couple wrong.
This ain't the one to just say that.
First of all, I'm loyal to my mans, so that was a heart pick more than anything. We'll get into it, but
we will.
It's a heart pick more than anything. I already know Mr. Zero Dark 30 himself, Mr. Blackout season coming soon, date coming soon. Y'all already know it's Malik the motherfucking God. Huh? What's good? Shout out to my man Gerard in the back, 901 Daiquiris. Y'all already know what it is, man. You know, we got to keep that shit rolling, bro.
Mr. Daiquiri man himself.
Mr. Hard Work himself. Whatever, nigga. I love roasting Gerard while he in the back, man. But all right, we'll see. Good show today. Let's get into it.
There's only one thing to start with. What do you think? Because that's your boy. I picked him. I'm not going to act like I didn't pick him, because I did. That's your boy. That is your guy. Fuck happened to Conor McGregor on Saturday night?
He got knocked the fuck out. That's what happened. Like, I'm not here to make any excuses for him. But do believe last episode we were talking about it. And I mentioned the nice Conor. Happy-go-lucky Conor. We all know that shit a fluke, bro. That's not who Conor is. I didn't see the Conor strut when he came out.
That's true. I don't remember. I kind of missed that. We had a bit of a stream problem as that was getting going. But it came back before not a stream problem. My youngest niece got hold of the remote and kicked us out of it for a second. Took a minute. When we got back, we was all right before the fight started. So
Yeah.
I did miss whether or not he did the strut that he completely stole from Vince McMahon, and they're trying to give him credit for anyway. But beside the
But
point.
yeah, just didn't. When Conor came out, you just didn't feel the same way you feel every other Conor fight. This one was weird. This one was a little weird to me. Like, it just didn't seem like Conor had much confidence coming into the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just felt off. So are we gonna get into the fight? Like, you want me to get into what I saw and all that?
Yeah,
or?
yes, we're doing all that. We're doing all that. Yeah, I do agree with you. That fire, that intensity that we've
Wasn't there.
seen from Conor definitely did not seem there.
Was not there.
And for some people that can be okay, but for Conor, yeah, that it didn't feel the same. 100% agree with you on that.
So we start off the fight. Kind of looks like he's all right, but he kind of looks like he's in more of a traditional boxing stance. He doesn't look like he's really in that. Like, he's not switching stances like he usually does. He's not using his push kicks. He kind of is just focused on boxing with Dustin, and then Dustin hits him with a couple leg kicks.
Conor still learned how to check the leg kick.
Conor didn't check any of them. I think he got out of the way of probably one, but he didn't check any of them. Dustin takes him down immediately. Go ahead.
First off, I don't know who the user is. I'm sure it's someone we know, but they are right. Keishawn and Conor both got their souls lifted on Saturday. That is a fact. Very true. I do think Conor's counters were still there early on in that fight, and they look like who. Dustin ate some shots. Like, that's what I'm about to say. He took him down, but Conor worked his way back up. Right.
Landed some pretty good shots on Dustin. Some shots that I thought was going to take Dustin the fuck out of here.
Or at least rock him a little more than they did. I think he kind of got stumbled a little bit on one, if I'm not mistaken. For the most part, Dustin took him pretty good. And they were pinpoint the Conor McGregor counters that you know and love.
The uppercut.
They were there. He barely missed on like two, and he caught him decently with another one, but he was timing them right. But like, I gave Conor the first round.
Me too. But I noticed that when he rocked Dustin, he didn't get aggressive. And that he should have finished Dustin in the first round, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's always tough when you are like, Conor's never been one to like run in recklessly, but he didn't pursue that much. He was fine with staying on the outside and kind of trading and working on those counters, because he had confidence he was going to catch him in those counters. And there wasn't much in the first round to make him think otherwise, because he was catching him with some mean counters.
Right.
You just, dog, you gotta check some of these kicks. You have to check some of these. And that's what cost him. That second round, all of a sudden, now your leg don't work. And Dustin picked up on it immediately and was like, I got him. And what we did say was, you're going to get Conor in short range. Like, you have to get in short range with Conor and kind of get him up in the cage. And that's what he was able to do after he completely deaded Conor's leg. Was, now you're in this phone booth up here against the cage. Now I can go to work. And boy, did he. Because That last right called Conor dead. Whew. Yeah, Conor took a mean L. That was a mean L.
And me and you kind of both knew.
Both knew what?
Conor. This was a possibility.
Possibility, yes.
A big possibility that he was going to knock out Conor, bro. Because we were both lamenting the Dustin's power, the fights that he's been in. It's not the same Poirier. We kind of disrespected Dustin. I'm not going to say. I apologize, Dustin. I will apologize. But if you look at Conor's history, when he's facing another striker, it always ends the same way. So there was really no reason for us to not think that Conor would do the same.
It's not like Conor was coming off some shitty performance. Conor had a great last performance. Last time we saw him, he was outstanding. And obviously, Poirier has been more active, but it wasn't a matter of Conor not wanting to be active. This wasn't a matter of Conor going off and being like, whatever. He did want to be active. It just didn't happen for all the reasons that we know.
Right.
So, that threw some stuff out there. So it felt like Conor, like, hey, maybe Conor's at a different point. He's a parent, you're a father now. A lot of times that changes people's motivations and stuff. And he's confident. And, shout out to the UFC's damn documentary crews and videographers, because these training videos that they have of Conor, look like, yo, man in the best shape of his life. He's out here like he's at a different level. And it wasn't hard to get behind Conor beating a guy he had beaten before, who kind of does lean into what Conor's best at, which is counter, because Poirier does tend to come forward a lot, and that's where Conor does his work. So
right.
It was tough, but I mean, shout out to Poirier. The man's only loss is to maybe the best lightweight of all time. One of the best fighters, period, of all time. So you got to put some respect on that man's name.
Yeah.
Period. Like, simple as that. You got to put some respect on that man's name.
But it's 1-1.
It is. Conor's already they're already trying to angle for a trilogy fight.
You already know how I feel about the rematch, Conor. So it's 1-1.
Do you think? I don't think it, because from what I've seen, it was like they're saying they want a trilogy fight, and it should be a trilogy fight should be for the lightweight title, which would assume that either it's happening down the line or they want an immediate rematch and it should be next. I don't agree with that in any way, shape, or form.
I don't either.
Good.
I don't agree with the trilogy fight right away. I don't. I think they need to get Conor active.
Exactly. No. I'm good on that. What then should be the next fight for Conor McGregor?
Pull up the top 10.
Top 10 at lightweight. Oh, my computer is trying to freeze on me right now. Let's go. Poirier, off the top of my head, Poirier, Gaethje, Olivera, Tony Ferguson, Conor, Hooker, Chandler. Come on. Dos Anjos. So in order, Gaethje 2, Olivera 3, Chandler 4, Ferguson 5, Conor 6, Dos Anjos 7, Dan Hooker 8, Paul Felder 9, Diego Ferreira 10. Then Iaquinta Kevin Lee right under them.
If I had to pick an opponent today, it would probably be Dos Santos.
That wouldn't be the worst idea. They got some history.
I picked Dos Santos. Unless you want to go with Diego. Anybody else?
No, not Diego. Not Diego.
Yo. Who else, Corey?
So if we're talking just for fun and a fight that I'd like to see that I think would be awesome, I'd love to see Conor fight Paul Felder.
No.
That'd be I don't think it's going to happen like money-wise and just standing-wise, but just from a pure entertainment standpoint, that's a fight that would be fun to me. 2, you could still always do the Max rematch, and that still keep Conor in a big name. I'm just throwing out possibilities.
No, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get Conor the fuck up out of here.
I'm not trying to get Conor the fuck.
You trying to get Conor the fuck up out of here with that Max? No. Hell no. No. No.
You also always still have the looming possibility, should other things that we think should and could happen fall through at a weight class higher, you still have that lingering Conor Masvidal fight if you want to do that.
No. What is wrong with you? No.
They want to keep Conor at a high point. He's still the biggest star that they have.
I understand that. I don't trust Dana. And Dana needs to put him in there for business purposes, because let's not pretend that Conor's stock didn't drop after that fight. I'm not.
Of course.
Okay, all right. So you put him in there with somebody he has the potential to knock the fuck out to get his star bright again before you put him in there with any other dog.
Do you want to waste a potential Conor McGregor fight on Rafael Dos Anjos?
Yeah.
Because you're not putting Conor on free TV. You're not. It's not going to happen. So it's going to be a pay-per-view, and it's Conor, so it's going to be a co-main or main event fight.
It's going to be a co-main. That's what it's going to be. I can handle Conor and RDA in the co-main. I can deal with that.
I think if you're going that route, I feel like it'd be more likely to be Justin Gaethje.
Fuck no. Conor should not take that Gaethje fight right now. It will no. Fuck no. It will be the same result.
Stop trying to protect your boy.
See, no, because you trying to get him the fuck out of here.
I am giving him entertaining fights against top contenders.
Nah, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. No, you know that Gaethje fight is a bad idea. You know this for Conor right now. Definitely not. Definitely not. Especially after the way Poirier just beat him. You think Dustin didn't see? You think Justin didn't see that? No. Absolutely not.
Force him to work on defending leg kicks.
Yeah, okay.
If we're going in that Dos Anjos range, I'd rather see him fight Paul Felder. If we're going to that caliber of opponent, and no disrespect to Dos Anjos, he's a former champion. Paul Felder is complete badass. I'd rather see Felder than Dos Anjos. Personally, I don't care about Dos Anjos.
I don't care. You're missing the point.
Yeah, the point is you're trying to protect your boy.
What? I don't care about Dos Anjos either. If I'm the UFC, I'm building Conor back up, and Dos Anjos.
If we don't care about Dos Anjos, then why am I wasting a Conor fight on him? Why am I wasting pay-per-view numbers?
Okay, do people really care about Paul Felder?
It's a better fight than fucking Dos Anjos.
No, you don't answer my question. Do people care about Paul Felder more than they care about Dos Anjos?
Yeah, more than they care about Dos Anjos? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And you can make them care about that fight more. You can, and it's easier because you can build up either one of them. You can build up the Dos Anjos fight just playing that fucking clip at that giant press conference from Conor over and over where he tells him to break out the red panties and then talk about his wife and all that shit.
So that's the fight.
You can do that. Or you can build up, it's Conor McGregor, Irish, versus Paul Felder's basically like, was it any like the Irish hand grenade or some shit? What's the hell's is basically fake Irish, almost kind of be Irish. You throw, I don't know about this Paul Felder. Put on them highlight reels. Here, we'll drop this for, you know what? ESPN, we're gonna do a what is they call the UFC fight night. Here's for free, Paul Felder and Dan Hooker, or Paul Felder. You can just drop these fights. Go, this is the motherfucker Conor's fighting. Oh no. Shit. No. Okay, I'm in. I'm not.
I don't
People
care
about
Felder like that.
And Felder's in the limelight more because he does commentary regularly.
Okay, yeah, I give you that. So we hear his voice more. So yes. What? So what? There's no bad blood in between Conor and Felder. I don't want to see it. I want to see him.
I don't think there's bad blood in between them. I don't think Conor gives that enough of a fuck about Dos Anjos anymore. He gave a fuck about Dos Anjos then because he was the champ then. He does not give a fuck about him now.
You build Conor up, you give him Dos Anjos. You don't give him Paul Felder, bro. Me and you both know that. I understand it's the fight Corey wants to see.
Neither one of those are the fights that I want to see. I said if I'm going if we're going to down there in the bottom half of the top 10, yeah, I'm gonna say Felder definitely as opposed to RDA. I'd much rather see the Gaethje fight. I'd much rather see the Max fight. Those are better fights to make. Those are better fights for the UFC to make than any of those. But if we're going down there, yes, I'm taking Felder. If you're giving me one choice, I'm doing Max rematch. If you're giving me my one choice, I'm going Max. That's me.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
To me, that's a no-lose situation.
I don't like it.
That's a no-lose situation to me.
How is it a no-lose situation?
Because one of them is going to end up a bigger star. One of them is going to end up a huge star off of it. Either
you don't need Conor to build up Max that way after the performance he just had against Kattar.
Build him up even more.
You trying to get my boy the fuck up?
I'm not trying to get him out of here.
I'm trying to get my boy the fuck up out of here, Corey. I see your intentions, Corey.
I don't hate Conor like that. I'm trying to make good, fun fights.
Mm-hmm.
So all I'm trying to do is make good, fun fights.
It's not about that right now. You sacrificed this one fight. Let my boy get his confidence back. And then we'll talk about the Max fight. Then we'll talk about the Gaethje fight. Then we'll talk about the Masvidal fight or the Poirier rematch. Let my boy get his confidence back.
You at the top of the game, you don't get those fights.
Obviously, Conor's not at the top of his game right now. He's
still at the top of the UFC popularity charts.
It's not about popularity because popularity
it's always about that shit.
He's almost lost half his popularity just getting knocked out.
Yeah, I bet them checks ain't about to get no smaller.
It's not about this. Okay, he still brings in pay-per-view buys because it's
if I'm the UFC, I'm not paying you that kind of money to fight fucking Rafael Dos Anjos.
Well,
no. Fuck out of here.
Well, it's too bad. It's too bad on the UFC's part because they should have kept Conor active if they wanted him to have them fights like that. They didn't do it. So now it's time to build Conor back up active before you give him them big fights again.
It's beyond their control.
Beyond their control?
It's a fucking pandemic.
So
a lot of people in them countries
for a fight all year.
A lot of people in them countries. A lot of people in them countries were not coming over here because they were like they would have had to be away from their family. He just had a kid. He wasn't trying to be away from his family and his kid for no 6-7 months that it would have took to take the fight. Fuck no, that was out of their control. I'm not putting that. There's a whole lot of things I will put on the UFC, but this ain't one of them.
Well, we disagree here.
That's fine.
We disagree here. They kept my boy Conor on ice. That's your superstar. He got in there. He got smoked. It's your job to make him a superstar again if that's what you want to do. But you putting Conor in there with another killer, it's not going to do nothing but them Conor's like even more.
And if you put him in there with one that no one cares about and then put him in with a killer and he loses to that killer, then you're just delaying what could have been done in a couple months anyway.
Then you delay that shit for that paycheck. You delay that shit. At least that's 2 paychecks instead of 1.
I don't think those on it. Yeah, that's great for Conor. Well, yeah, that's great for Conor.
Great for Conor and for the UFC.
No one is looking for that Dos Anjos match.
Okay, all right. Listen, okay. Let me ask you a real question. What does Conor have the potential to make a bigger fight for? Paul Felder or RDA with the shit that he said about RDA before?
What do you mean? Like, what would be ultimately the bigger fight?
Promo-wise.
I don't think it's going to change regardless of whether either of them that he fights.
I think RDA would be the better one for him to promote. Just because of the prior history. I think he would take that nice guy approach with Paul Felder again. I don't see Conor returning to Conor with Paul Felder.
I agree.
I can see Conor returning to Conor with RDA, and that's why I say RDA. Is because he already has the history with him. He's already talked shit about him. It's the perfect person to just continue on to say what you were going to say. RDA is the fight. It may not be the best fight that people want to see because RDA is not bringing anybody to the fight.
No.
But that's the person that you can give Conor to where Conor can carry that promotion and at the same time get a good win under his belt.
Possibly.
Right. But I still see him beating RDA.
I agree with you on that point, though. That point is one I absolutely agree. Conor would be more like the Conor we knew against RDA than he would be against Felder. I'll give you that.
That's why I needed to be RDA.
I'll give you that one. We'll see. We shall see. It's not about getting him a title shot.
No, it's not about title shots right now. We're past that.
Yeah, I agree. Fighting RDA would not get him to a title shot, but either one of those fights, to me, be it RDA or a Felder, would help. Okay, Conor's still here. Like he's not done because now there's going to be questions of, is this a downslide? Not either one of them, be it an RDA or a Felder, and I still think both of those fights are unlikely. But either one of those fights would be a good, like, okay, Conor still has something left in the tank, and now we can place him against those other guys. I think where you're mistaken here on him rematching Dustin and beats him against the title shot is that I think Dustin's next fight will be for the lightweight title. Because Khabib is retired.
That's it. I'm done with
Khabib's not coming back. At least not right now. So Dustin's next fight has to be for the lightweight title or some version of the lightweight title. Period. Point blank. Who he fights in that match, that is up for discussion. And in that, we go to this co-main event. Dan Hooker, I don't know what the fuck you thought you were doing. I underestimated Michael Chandler's athleticism.
Me too.
I knew he had power. I knew if he catches you, he can finish you. His level changes were very, very good, very sudden, very quick, and they threw off Hooker. And Hooker kept trying to circle. He kept trying to circle. You can't keep circling in the same goddamn direction the whole time. And eventually he hit him with a great level change, caught Hooker with a hook that he never saw coming. He tried to recover. He didn't. He couldn't. Kudos to Michael Chandler. I have zero bad words to say about his performance, about his call outs after, because he did what, even though it was still like whatever and kind of corny to me, you're supposed to do that. Called out all the people he needed to call out. Right. He called out the people he needed to call out. He did what he was supposed to do. He put his name on the map. And now Dan Hooker's going to have to go back to the drawing board and figure some shit out.
He did throw his gloves in the cage.
I noticed that too. I hope that doesn't mean what something like that normally means. But usually it's more of a thing. You sit down, you kneel, you put the gloves in. Normally you don't just kind of toss them down. Like, I don't know. He's young. I hope he's sticking around because he's still really fucking talented. I'm not gonna kill you for losing to Dustin Poirier in a great fight and then losing to Michael Chandler you got caught. Like, that shit happens. So, I hope Hooker, sticks around and is fine because he's still young enough that he's got plenty of time should he choose to still come back and make a run at 155. So I hope that's the case. As for Michael Chandler, is that the fight to make now for the lightweight title? Michael Chandler versus Dustin Poirier.
I know Dustin doesn't want the fight.
Dustin has been very open and very clear.
Yeah, I know Dustin does not want the fight. I know Dustin feels like Michael Chandler needs to have a couple more wins under his belt. I get it. I get that he beat a guy that he beat a guy that he beat. I get it. But the way that Michael Chandler stepped on the scene last night, and this is why I didn't think his call-outs were corny. Me and you both know the UFC is looking for their next white hope. American.
They always are. They always are.
When I saw him grab that American flag and have that after-fight promo, you know what Malik saw? Probably the same thing that Dana saw. Dollar signs. That's the fight to make. That is the fight to make. Especially, and Dana did it to himself. Because Dana held him out so long. Let Chandler pick and choose who the fuck he was going to fight. Everybody was talking about how Bellator is the little brother and da-da-da-da-da. And he comes out there and he knocks out a killer in the first round. And then does those call-outs. It's the fight. Sorry, Dustin. I know. It's the fight. Especially if you want the title. That's the fight. It's the fight to me.
I'm a little torn. All right, let me be here. I agree with what Dustin said.
Me too. I do.
I agree 100% that Charles Olivera should be the fight, and that should be the fight for the lightweight title.
Of course.
Period, point blank. Olivera has been on a ridiculous streak. He just washed Tony Ferguson. That wasn't that long ago. That was like a month and a half ago. It was not that long ago.
Right.
He's been here. He's been putting in work. And like Poirier said, dog, I lost my title shot. I come here, I put on a fight of the year. I come back and rematch the biggest name in the sport, and I beat him. And now I'm supposed to fight a guy who got one fight and he gets a title shot. I get it. Full on 100%. I agree with it. He said, and his words were, I guarantee it won't be against Michael Chandler. Those are Dustin's words. Not, I don't want to, not, I guarantee I won't be fighting Michael Chandler next.
I'll go sell hot sauce.
Money talks. Money talks. And I definitely feel like they're going to want to, I hate the term, but it just makes sense. They're going to want to strike while they iron's hot.
Yes, of course.
Michael Chandler is not some 26-year-old up-and-comer. Michael Chandler is, I think, 34. I think. He's in his 30s. He's been in wars. He's been fighting for a long time. In fairness, Olivera's been fighting for a long time, too, but he's also a little younger. I think the UFC is going to want to capitalize off of what Chandler did on this same card and just go, hey, you got the two guys. Poirier already beat Justin.
Right. Beat the shit out of Justin.
Already beat Justin. Finished him. So that's not going to happen. Probably Loso, that's who's been the person there. Soon it is again. But yeah, Justin Gaethje and Poirier fought. Great fight. Poirier finished Justin, I think, in the fourth or fifth, something like that. So that's already happened. To me, they're gonna strike on that, and that's what they're gonna want to do. And if Dustin isn't gonna want to play ball and do that fight, then he might find himself left out of the lightweight title picture. Because I definitely feel like they want to make Chandler in that fight, and it makes sense. But to me, the more deserving person is Charles Olivera. Period. Point blank. That's the fight that I want to see happen, because I've seen so much of Olivera's rise and how he's come back and how he's just gone on the street, and he's fucking awesome. So that's what I prefer. But to your point, I would definitely agree that it's more likely to be Chandler, because these are the kind of fighters Dana wants to make stars.
As soon as I saw the promo, I said, well, Dana got his new guy.
Yep. I cannot argue that. I could see it. I could see them maybe doing like Dustin Chandler and then Olivera Gaethje. I think that I could see something like that, which would suck for Olivera. Like, dog, I just beat Tony Ferguson. I got to fight Gaethje too. Like, fuck. He deserves his title shot. But number one, the difference in Conor and Dustin fighting was that was like 5-6 years ago. It's a very long time ago. There's a big time gap in between those fights. The Dustin Gaethje fight was like, I think, 2 years ago. More closely done. And Gaethje is coming off a loss. And should someone who's coming off a loss now fight for the vacant title over a guy who's won like 10 straight, or a guy in Chandler who just jumped on the scene, who was the top guy or second top guy, because he did lose to Pitbull over in Bellator, but long time top guy at Bellator, and then comes in and knocks out one of your 5 best lightweights in his first fight. That's just not, it just doesn't make sense. Business sense from the UFC side. Not that Gaethje isn't deserving of it.
And I think that's the point, and that's where you kind of UFC fans have to transition to. is that it's not necessarily about the full ranking system with the UFC right now. It's not. They don't have the stars for that. You get what I'm saying? So the minute they see somebody be another star, they're going to jack him up. Like Michael Chandler wasn't even ranked before the fight.
Yeah, he hadn't had a fight in the UFC, so there
You know
was
what
no
I'm
way.
saying? So he's number one contender now. That's just, and let's not, and another thing too. Let's not forget that with the Khabib Justin fight, who they have on standby.
It was Michael
Just
Chandler.
in case one of them couldn't fight, it was Michael Chandler. So Michael Chandler has been the number one contender really this whole time. So that's the fight. Unfortunately, I feel bad for Charles. I feel bad for Justin. I kind of do feel Justin deserves it, but in my opinion, I think Poirier is just on another level right now than Justin.
I agree with that.
I just think Dustin's boxing is on another level at this point. So I don't see a difference in the result from their first fight. Me personally, I just don't.
The game has changed. The game has changed, and you know it's unfortunate that it's just not always about who's the most deserving right now. And no, it hasn't gotten as bad as boxing because there's no single company running things, but it has transitioned more into making a name for yourself, promoting, and who's the biggest star and what's going to bring in the numbers. That's just the name of the game. That's combat sports, period. That's always what it's going to be. You can try and make it not that for as long as you want. Eventually, it's going to come down to that. Conor changed that game. And that's why you see all these fools doing all this shit now. Chael Sonnen changed that game. Chael Sonnen got a damn title fight at a weight class that he hadn't even fought in years because they're shit talking. It's the name of the game. Not to the greatest extent, but if you're gonna say this guy, you know, when it comes to who deserves it more, there's Olivera who's here. There's, you know, Chandler's probably here. But who's the bigger name and who's going to bring in numbers? It's not close. Chandler's that's going to outweigh it because it's not like he's not deserving. It's not like it's not a completely undeserving person. It is someone who is deserving, maybe not as much as these other guys, but he's the bigger name. He's got the momentum. We can pull that trigger right now. They're going to try to do that. The question is whether Dustin's going to go along with it because right now he's sounding like he ain't trying to have that.
Right. Especially with Corona times. We got to remember that the times that we're in, the UFC needs big name fights without crowds.
Right.
We get the ranking system and all of that shit. We get it. But the minute they see somebody has the potential to bring in more pay-per-view buys, that's the guy you push to the top. Period. There's no question about it. It's unfortunate. Maybe when we have crowds again, it could kind of go back to the way things used to be with the most deserving fighter fighting for the title. It's a crowd. So you have that extra. They don't have no crowd. I have no problem with them pushing the top, pushing who they think will bring them the most revenue for that fight. At this point in time, I don't have any problem with it.
We're seeing it in other weight classes right now. We just saw with Adesanya who's going to fight Blachowicz for the light heavyweight title because Glover Teixeira is more than deserving of that title shot. But Izzy kind of ain't got much going on at middleweight. Fuck it. Throw him in with the light heavyweight guy because Glover ain't going to draw names as good as he is. We damn near saw it at heavyweight because it seemed like it was going to be Stipe and John Jones. And Ngannou's just been waiting around for it. And eventually they did decide to go with Ngannou. But even in that, Ngannou's a bigger name. He's had these highlight fucking real knockouts that he's still marketable enough to that point. But someone like Glover Teixeira, someone like Charles Oliveira, they don't have that same marketability, unfortunately, as good, as talented, and as deserving they are. Again, I want Oliveira. I want Dustin Oliveira to be the fight. That's the fight that I want to see. Those are the two who are most deserving, in my opinion. I just don't think it's going to happen.
And Justin just lost to Khabib. Like, people still remember that shit. Now, if he had fought Khabib and had another fight and then destroyed him, that pushed Justin right back into the picture. It hasn't happened.
It's literally exactly what Dustin just did.
Yeah, right.
Exactly what Dustin just did. He lost to Khabib, comes off, he fights Hooker in one of the 3 best fights of the year, wins that, gets the main event against Conor, he wins that. That's why I could see, if they were to do the Chandler-Dustin fight, that I could see a Gaethje Oliveira fight probably on the same card, to do something like that. That, to me, makes the most. Like, those are kind of the 4 to me. So I think it'll be some kind of combination between those 4. But yeah, like I said, I feel it's more likely to be Dustin and Chandler.
Right. So I guess, do we need to bring out what's next for Conor?
We kind of went by that.
In the top 10.
Yeah, you win 5 fights in a year. That also helps. But yes, Kevin Holland has been going at it. It is very much that. Kevin Holland has been going at Izzy. After every win, he goes at Izzy constantly. He's building a story before he gets there. That's exactly what Conor did with Aldo. Conor jumped, like, when Conor got to top, I don't think Conor might have been top 5. If he was like 4 or 5. He beat Dennis fucking Seaver in his last fight before he fought for the title. He didn't beat a top contender, but he had been building that storyline as it was. So for Izzy, when your best contender or guy you've already beaten, if Holland wins another fight impressively, like if he beats Uriah's fighting Weidman, who is it that Holland is supposed to fight? Now I don't remember. Or he might not have something like that. Is it Brunson?
I think it's
He
Brunson.
beats Brunson and impressively, and then calls out again. Why as UFC, why wouldn't you? This is a new fighter who's been talking a lot of shit, and you got an easy build up to make. And he's been on your programming for the last 2 years because he fights every other month. Like, it's the easiest ticket to getting to that level. Because we've already seen Izzy wash Whittaker. We've seen him wash Costa. Yoel Romero's no longer here. No one gives a fuck about Jack Hermanson. Like, it's what it is. The only possible fight is a rematch of Whittaker, who we're about to get to in a second.
Right. So we also got future of the lightweight title. Do we need to talk about that? We kind of covered.
Yeah, I think we just covered that.
Well, shit. Fight announcements.
Woo. Let me start with this one first, because we did just mention Robert Whittaker, which I think this is going to be a fire-ass fight. Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa on a UFC on ESPN event, I believe in March. My thing is not loading up right now. No, excuse me. That's going to be in April. April 17th, day before my birthday. Paulo Costa, Robert Whittaker is going to main event UFC event. 3 months ahead of time.
Yeah. Who you got?
I'm going Whittaker right now.
I'm going Whittaker too. I don't see why we're talking about it. Like, I'm just going to keep it real. After the performance that I just seen Costa put on, I don't see.
It's the 2 top contenders in middleweight fighting. Let's throw that out there. They are 1 and 2 behind Izzy right now. Whittaker 1, Costa 2. Yeah, Costa was trash against Izzy. That was terrible. It was embarrassing. That was really bad. Whittaker has looked fucking outstanding in his last 2 fights since then. And I wouldn't if he wins this again, if he wins this convincingly, I'm not mad at him and Izzy doing a rematch. I think that'll be a fire fight.
Right.
And Whittaker, more often than not, puts on really entertaining fights. Most of the time. Costa's got in my head, Whittaker withstood Yoel Romero power. He should be able to withstand Paulo Costa power. I would think, but you never know when that shit's gonna go. You know, we saw with Frankie Edgar for years. Like, how the fuck is he still staying up after all this shit? And then all of a sudden, you know, he's out of there.
This is a question.
Okay.
Do you think Paulo Costa is more equipped to fight Whittaker? Even though Whittaker has the level changes and things like that, he'll flirt with the wrestling, whatever. But still, Whittaker's more of a boxer. Do you think Costa has a better chance with Whittaker and winning that fight than he would if he was to go against Izzy again?
Yes. Again, then Izzy, yeah, I think he's a terrible style matchup for Izzy. Like there's this idea that you want a big strong guy to go up and try to punk Izzy. Like that shit's not working.
Yeah.
You keep trying to do this, it doesn't fucking work because Izzy's smart. He knows how to control distance. His counters are ridiculous. His accuracy's awesome. He's 185-pound prime Conor. That's what it is. Like, you just bully him. It's it's not gonna go the way you think it's gonna go. But the way Whittaker, I would say, is a better chance against Whittaker, but I still favor Whittaker. I like Whittaker's game. I think Whittaker's game is more well-rounded. I don't think Costa, quite frankly, even in a couple of his wins, I don't think he was overly impressive. I thought Uriah Hall should have beat him. I thought Uriah Hall was fucking him up with the same keeping distance in the counters. And then Uriah just kind of let up off the gas and let him back him down and then get him in the phone booth. That's when he lost. But when Uriah was able to control distance, he was fucking Costa up. To me, so Costa's never been overly impressive. He's the potential. It's you see the size, he does have some talent. And he looks like he's fucking carved out of stone, so people get all excited and shit. But in actuality, it's his performances themselves. I did think he edged out Romero. Really, really, really close fight. To me, that was probably his best performance I've seen from him. But especially recently, Whittaker has been like, we don't know if Whittaker still got it. Yes, the fuck he do. Your next 2 little contenders you thought was about to make this next leap, took them both out.
Right.
Clearly. So, yeah, Costa's a better shot, but to me, Whittaker's a clear favorite coming in. He's been at a higher level, and I'm interested to see what Izzy does if Izzy is able to win that light heavyweight title. Does he come back to 185? Does he try to do both? Because the only guy who's defended both is Cormier, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, and Nunes. Nunes defended both. So that's it. It's.
I don't see Izzy staying in the light heavyweight division permanently. I think he drops back down to 185. I think he's just trying to prove a point. That's it. Like, stylistically, it's a better matchup for him than you putting him in there with like a Dominic Reyes or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just
maybe. I don't know.
I said, but here's the point too. I have to see the Blachowicz fight before I can judge how he'll fare.
Of course.
In the light heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? Like, I I just have to. So, we just have to see with that Izzy shit, man.
Right. For sure. And then the other one, in Dana White's latest attempt to get Tyron Woodley the fuck out of here. UFC 260, Tyron Woodley versus Vicente Luque. Why would you do this, Tyron? What?
Well, Tyron better remember how to wrestle.
Tyron better remember how to block. Tyron better learn how to dog. Like Wonderboy Thompson was like, yeah, no, I beat Luque, but fuck. Like, that's the toughest motherfucker I've fought. He didn't say motherfucker because he's nice, but he was like, that's the toughest person I've ever faced in my life. I don't know how he withstood these shots that I gave him, and he kept coming, and that's like the hardest I've been hit. Vicente Luque is no joke. Vicente Luque is a problem. And based on what we've seen from Woodley in the last couple fights, he might do Woodley worse than Burns did. That's on the table. I have zero faith in Tyron Woodley right now.
I don't think Tyron wants to fight anymore, bro. I just don't. When we talked about Conor not having the same fire, there was still fire there. I don't see any of that with Tyron Woodley, bro. Every time he steps in the cage now, it looks like he doesn't want to be there. It doesn't matter who it's against. It looks like he has no sort of confidence anymore. I see this going bad for him too. Like, I just...
If there was any fight that you would expect a thoroughness from Woodley, it would have been the Kobe fight. And we didn't get that.
Yeah.
So now I'm supposed to have faith in that he's going to suddenly throw it back for Luque? Nah.
No.
Nah. They are trying.
You're right. No. Sorry, bro. No. Unless he feels disrespected with them putting Luque in there with him, it's a possibility. Because you know what Woodley thinks of him, still thinks of himself as a champion.
He does.
That's his only hope. Like, yo, you disrespected me, putting me in this guy with him. I know I had a bad couple fights. But this is the fight for Woodley to showcase who he is. But bro, I don't have any faith in it happening with a dude who looks like he doesn't want to be there, man. Like, now if you just scrap and you lose, it's different. But he's getting dominated in every.
He can't pull the trigger. He doesn't pull the trigger, and it throws me off. And this ain't someone that you can. Yeah, Kobe will throw a lot of punches and do shit. But he ain't really like doing major damage. Luque will break your face. Is that you better find that trigger immediately and learn how to get your punches off again, or it's going to be a long night. It is going to be a serious problem. Y'all don't know. Go find Luque's last couple fights. Win or lose, that person's in a war. We don't never see Wonderboy Thompson. He might lose. Wonderboy might get caught. He might lose a fight, but he's rarely in wars. And he was able to get to Wonderboy and put him in a war. Luque's a different animal. Dana's trying to get Woodley out of here. We already know he don't fuck with Woodley like that. Dana's trying to get Woodley out of here. I am absolutely convinced of that shit.
Well, we're going to have to see. Hopefully, like, I like Woodley, man. So hopefully he remember who the fuck he is, bro. But until then, my nigga, I wouldn't fight. Like, I'm just gonna keep it real. If I was Woodley, I wouldn't do this. Like, you don't do this, bro. Just sit in the commentating booth, work on your music, bro. You don't need this shit no more, man. Like, just sit this one out, especially if you don't have that fire to fight no more, bro. All you're doing is hurting your legacy at this point. Like, just chill out, bro. Like, that's my opinion, because I shouldn't even be up here talking about a Tyron Woodley this way. That's my point. Like, this is where we're at with Tyron Woodley? Nah, bro.
You're one of the three greatest UFC welterweights of all time.
Right.
Like, you, GSP, Matt Hughes. That's the three. That is the welterweight royalty in the UFC. It should not come to why are we doing this? I have zero faith. It shouldn't come to that.
Right.
And I hate that it does.
Right.
It's scary because these are the day. Go fight fucking if this was Neil Magny, if this was Michael Chiesa, I'd be like, I probably still wouldn't pick Woodley, but I wouldn't be but I wouldn't be like, oh no. Like, get out of there. Luque is someone where I'm like, get out of there. Find an injury right now. I don't want to be that person, dog. It feels like it's going to be one of those the first fight scene in the movies where the dude gets, like, the first scene in Kickboxer where Tung Po just fucks him up, and now someone's got, like, that's what this feels like to me. It's like, just no, just don't, just don't.
See, that Kobe Covington fight, man, it just left a really bad taste, bro. Like, especially after
the Burns fight was worse as far as damage.
Oh,
like, Burns fucked Woodley up bad. Kobe was just really like, this dude, you gonna let him destroy you like this? But please, Tyron, please. And I'm saying this is because I'm a fan of Luque. So, like, in the back of my mind, I do want Luque to keep rising because I think he's really good, and I want to see him on, like, I'm glad that he's getting a pay-per-view fight because he's been deserving of a pay-per-view fight for some time. I really fucks with Woodley. I fucks with what he's said. I fucks with everything else that he's done outside of the cage and all the causes and how good he is. And I want him to be able to keep doing that. And he, like you said, it's really like he might be hurting his legacy. And that is scary.
Right. Well, hopefully he pull it out, man. Like, pause. Hopefully he do his thing, man. I don't want to. It sucks to say that about Tyron, man, because
it does.
But it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. We got anything else? We straight?
I think we straight. I think we good to go. I'm about to go catch up on this. Apparently, Deshaun Watson done formally requested a trade. So, come on to the Cowboys. Me and Marcus gonna keep speaking it into existence.
I want to hear that shit. It's not happening. It's not happening, bro. Right? Any positive words? Anything? No. It looks like it's a no.
Miracles. When in doubt, just go with that.
I knew that word would come back to haunt me. It's not happening, bro. I'm out of here, yo. I don't got no positive words for y'all either. Corey ruined it. So I literally had some positive words for But you
don't let me kill that for you.
Nah, it's dead. I'm done. I'm just gonna smoke on this Irish pack.
You do that.
But all right, y'all. Appreciate y'all joining us. You can catch us on Amazon, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. If I'm missing something, tell Gerard it's your fault because you were supposed to do this. But you anywhere you stream your podcast, you can catch us on. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, follow, all that. Remember, we got At the Shop Tuesdays, Saturdays, whenever the fuck Gerard feels like he won't wake up. Got Divorced Besties coming back on Tuesday, I do believe, right?
I sure hope so.
Wednesday, dog. Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. Excuse me. Wednesday. So make sure y'all look forward to that.
Because we can never get enough of Gerard getting roasted on podcasts. And quite frankly, I think Candace does the best job out of all of us.
Of course. Another thing too.
I've known her since '99, bro. So she knows me better than all you guys.
Another thing too, if you're a wrestling fan, remember this Sunday we will be on Clubhouse.
Yes, sir. Clubhouse this Sunday.
This Sunday, talking about the Royal Rumble. So you can really catch us anywhere. You know what I'm saying? We trying to do our thing. Gerard, was that okay for you? Did I get in my host bag? Am I okay?
I was just sitting back watching you, and I was like, okay, look at him doing this thing. I wasn't even gonna say it. You got it.
Bro, you know what I'm saying? So,
did great. That was
step up a little bit. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
So enough, we ain't gonna need Gerard no more.
Every Thursday, bro, we here. So next Thursday, pull up.
Yeah, definitely pull up.
Absolutely.
We gotta get Dustin and Mooka on here. We bullshitting. I still
sure. That's a you thing because I'm in no rush.
Of course you're not.
Me and Dustin go because I already know what. Just let me know beforehand so I can make sure I have my receipts ready for Dustin. Me and Mooka go back and forth. I know he on the shit. Dustin, I'm gonna have to make sure I got my receipts and everything right because I know where that's gonna go.
Already, fuck all that. I'm hitting Dustin up as soon as we get on.
Already know what's
hey, yo, bro. Thursday, 5:00. Don't have shit to do. You coming on the show, yo? Yeah, we making that shit happen next week. Go ahead and get your receipts ready, my nigga. Go ahead and get them ready.
We gonna do it, and make sure. Not just like subscribing, rate us, leave comments, good comments. Gerard will go on there and roast it if you leave some bad comments. But 5-star, give us some 5-star ratings on all of that.
Facts. And
leave comments, y'all.
Facts.
I love it.
But shit, Irish Pack getting to me. I'm gonna holler at y'all later.
Yeah.
We out.
We out, bro.